All right, everyone, welcome back to Coffee and Crypto. Today we have a special guest, Dalton. He has a channel called Grados Capital, and he is going to be with us today, giving us some market insight. Rob is out under the weather today, so we brought in Dalton to do a little talking here about doing our market update for this week. So let's take a look at the charts. I got Bitcoin pulled up here on the daily. It looks like not much has really happened in the last couple months, and we've had some major news come out in the last week. The Fed raised interest rates by 3/4 of a point. The market kind of didn't even really react to that. I mean, we've just been kind of consolidating around this $20 to $23,000 range, um, and we also got confirmed that we are in a recession, and the market didn't even really react to that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Dalton, and he's going to give you his insight on these news events that have happened and what he thinks. Dalton is actually more on the traditional market side. He trades futures. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that and give your insight on where you think the market is headed from here.
Definitely, absolutely. Pleasure to be here, first of all. And so my background is I trade S&P 500 futures. Um, so, uh, a little bit outside the crypto market. However, I have noticed that, crypto, at least currently, kind of behaves as a risk-on asset, right? So they do really correlate a lot with the overall market indexes as funds are moving towards risk assets. They also move into crypto. So a lot of it has been correlating. When you mentioned, with the news this week, it's almost like the news couldn't get worse, and yet we kind of had like a short cover rally, over the past week or so, and in some of the newsletters and everything that I follow, a lot of the guys who are who I look up to, their explanation is, well, markets are always anticipatory and looking ahead, right? So when we get the news that we are officially in a recession, markets kind of been pricing that in. And so, it's looking ahead into the future and not really considering that as the news breaks.
All right, that's
Yeah.
That's interesting that you say that, because I know that on the last couple market updates that we've been given, I mentioned that a couple times that I believe that this news was already priced in, that the market almost seemed to know what was going to happen, and then when the news comes out, it was like, well, nothing happened. And also, in the last month, we've had several bankruptcies, exchanges go belly up as well. It's almost like the market knew that was going to happen too, and it was already priced in because recently when that news came out, like that didn't even affect the markets. Like it's almost like we're at like a brick wall right here. And I've been saying I'm a little more bullish than I know Rob has been saying in the past on where we think Bitcoin and the market is headed. I think we're at a very short term bottom here. At least I think that, at least for my price prediction over the coming weeks and months, I can see Bitcoin rallying up to, if you see right here, up to this volume by price level where we got a lot of volume here around this $29,000 to $30,000 range. I could see Bitcoin having a rally up to that level and consolidating before it makes its next decision. It could be that once we get up to this range, some more like catastrophic news comes out and we go down to that 15 to 12 to $15,000 range that I know so many people out there are just like blowing their horns out on Twitter about. They think it's going $10 to $12,000 or $12 to $15,000. I don't think it's happening anytime in the like immediate, like short time frame, like in the next couple weeks or anything like that. I think with everything that I've seen with the bad news that's come out, any news right now, I feel like is going to be good news, and it's going to give just more clarity and give more confidence for people to jump back in. And also, if Bitcoin gets back above the $24,000 range, reclaims that level, I think a lot of people are going to FOMO in and drive the price up to these levels before we get any selling pressure. What do you think about that, Dalton, or do you have any different opinion?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very clear to see that 30,000 level is is a very key level, even if you just look left. So I'm a big price action guy. I see you got volume profile and other tools there as well, but I love to just look at the pure price action. You see, if you just look left, you have a big consolidation area right around 30,000. So that's really, your upside target. I know on the S&P, the charts are still, they're short-term bullish, long-term bearish still, right? Because I mean, if as you look left, right, you have a leg down, consolidation, leg down, consolidation, little bit of recovery here, but still not really breaking out yet in any way to really say that we're off to the races again, unless buyers really just you plummet right through 30,000 and on up, then you could say, okay, well, this thing is really turning more on a long-term basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I am also short term or short to medium term bullish, maybe for the next 3 to 6 months, and then a longer term bearish based on what I see the Fed doing and the fact that we're in a recession and things like that. So I do agree with you there. That's pretty cool that we're being like, I'm 100% in crypto markets and Dalton is 100% in the traditional markets, and we kind of see the same things out there. That's kind of cool to see that. So let me ask you one final question, Dalton. Yeah, I know you're not like familiar with crypto, but where do you see Bitcoin going next? Do you see it going to $30,000, or do you see it going down to the $10,000 to $15,000 range, like so many people out there are saying? What do you see?
So to answer that question, I'm just going to go off of a purely technical basis, and this is how I trade. I trade on an intraday basis, so I try not to speculate too much on fundamentals. I just look at what is the chart telling me. Right now, the current price action looks like that the path of least resistance is sideways to up, especially on on the right there where you have your volume profile. Yeah, you're kind of on the upper edge of where there's a lot of support, and then there's not a whole lot of volume of support before you get up to the 30,000 area. So that could be a gap, a good gap up area. But if I'm just looking at buyers and sellers as they display themselves in the price, what is the path of least resistance right now? Neutral to up, for the short term is what it looks like to me, and that's just on a basis of probabilities. Of course, we know anything can happen, but what are the probabilities looking like? So that's what I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're saying what, like 70% chance that we are headed up to the high 20s and a 30% chance that we dump down immediately down to the teens? Or what kind of probability would you place on that?
I mean, with that, it's kind of more speculation. I mean, I do see that, like I said, with the low volume area above us until we hit the 30,000 area, that would be an area that it could easily just rally through without much resistance. You also have that gap down. So if you look left on the price action, that's a gap down, right? And the gap fill would be the area of previous consolidation. So are buyers going to fill the gap or not? Is really the question. But it doesn't. I will say this: it doesn't look like it's just ready to fall off a cliff quite yet, right? It doesn't look like sellers are very strong here.
Yeah, I'm looking at like how much. Sorry, let me move this. I'm looking at how much volume has traded right in this level right here, 20 to 21,000. For sellers to push the price down through this level is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
So I like what you're saying. I agree with you there, but you're right. It's a game of probabilities. It's I see a higher probability of us going high right now, but I've been in leverage long trades where I get wiped out because, hey, that 20% chance that something's going to happen happens. Yeah. You just get wiped out. Yeah. That's why you got to set stop losses and manage your risk. But all right, I think that's pretty good. Thank you so much for coming on today for the market update. Dalton, is there any final words you want to say, or is that pretty much wrap it up?
I would just say to everyone, do your due diligence. There's gambling, and then there's investing and trading, and I would encourage you to be a smart investor, smart trader. Don't gamble. Don't have a gambling mindset.
All right, cool. See you guys next time.